Here it is. So this is the project. I have had to remove a fair amount of plugins to make sure that it works for this stream. There was a lot of soothe on this project, so now there's not. So it might sound a little harsher, a little different here and there. I'll point out where I would have used it. Yeah, system overload counter is at 0 right now, but you guys can count how many times we hit the wall, because yeah, for those who have just joined us, I mean, usually I've got like a bit, the setup I've got at the moment is very mobile, so me and Howard can write anywhere in the world and do Twitch, but it's all off one laptop. So this poor little thing, I've got a fan on it, just cooling it down, a cooling pad underneath it. Everything you can do to make one laptop run a finished project and stream on Twitch at the same time is happening. It's also not even an M1 Mac, so it's really like...
It's heroic. It's an impressive Mac.
It's a heroic Mac. I love that it's still got the sticker on it that says new as well. It's definitely not. It's fucking old, yeah. So, yeah. We're going to see how many times we encounter CPU overload. I'm hoping for maybe just 3 or 4.
All right, cool.
That would be great.
I reckon it'd be like 9.
Well, you would. All right, so here's the project. I've sort of collapsed it a fair amount into these little sections. So look, there's a lot. There's a lot of drums there. We got like various vocal buses here. Lots of layering.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. A lot of synths, I think. Yeah. A lot of audio as well. We did quite a lot of bouncing synths to audio and messing with them and layering it up. And the main chords are like a sample of, I believe, Jimmy? Or no, you playing, but Jimmy then played the sample in. I think so.
Yeah, because there were originally more chords than there are now.
That's right, yeah. And we'll probably be able to see that if we go on the Serato sampler. And then... yeah, naughty bass line with lots of automation. So, yeah, I mean, should we maybe start with the vocal and like the concept and the idea around the song, maybe, and how the day sort of happened or something? Yeah,
definitely talk about the writing of it. I won't go too much into the concept because I like people to work that out for themselves. But yeah, I know, I think, I mean, it was great, you know, like we worked with Ray for the first time, but I'd actually known her for a long, long time. Because we met in my house once. Where, yeah,
I like it when you explain how this happened.
Yeah, it's weird. I still have trouble like computing it myself. Yeah, I just came downstairs one day and Ray was in my house, and so I was like, "Who are you?" Because you know, this was like 9 years ago. Nah, yeah, maybe could be about that. Yeah, about 9 years ago, and I was like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Ray." I was like, "Cool, I'm Howard." And we got chatting, and I think I made her a cup of tea. It turns out she was there doing a session with my housemate, Finn. And yeah, they made a banger together. It was really cool. But so I've actually known her since then because she's from the same area that we grew up in. She's from, I think, Coulsdon or Croydon or somewhere in that region.
Coulsdon, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, no, it was nice to see her again and get back in the room and actually make some music rather than just make a cup of tea. Although we probably did have a cup of tea again. But yeah, man, no, she's insane. Like, she's amazingly talented, super safe. Like, we all got on really well. Obviously, we were there with Jimmy as well, who is like the 3rd member of the band. So yeah, it all fit very nicely. And there wasn't, I don't even think there was a conversation about like, oh, what kind of things should we make? It was like, oh, it's a sunny day in London and we're all here, let's make garage, obviously.
It's going to be garage, isn't it? Yeah, there wasn't much discussion about it. It was, well, also because Jimmy was there. It's like,
if Jimmy's there, it's hard not to make garage.
Yeah. Well, when I'm there and Jimmy's there, you and Jimmy make crazy stuff when I'm not there, but when I'm there, it's garage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, come on.
Yeah, sure. So
you write lovely, beautiful ballads with Jimmy sometimes. And then I come in and destroy them with snares and kick drums and hi-hats and.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Is like either we'll make some nice, pleasant pop song and Guy will make it into an underground house track somehow, or Guy will make an underground house track and we'll make it into a nice, pleasant pop song. So
yeah, nice.
I don't know which way around that happened for this song, but we've ended up with a poppy garage tune.
You see in this poll, how many overloads are we going to experience?
49. Is that? Wait, are they voting 49?
That's been decided. It's been decided.
Wait, what were the options?
1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 50,
and it's just
exactly 49.
Or 49. Oh yeah, well obviously it's that. Yeah, it's going to be a long show.
It's going to be a long show. Thank you, Van, for that lovely gifting of the subscriptions there. Super kind, always coming through with the goods. The goat. All right, back to this. So so this was not my first time meeting Ray either when we did this. I had worked with her before in LA on another session where we bumped into each other. Yeah, so we'd all met, but we'd never like got it together in the same room and like sort of specifically said we're going to write something for Disclosure or you, depending on how it sounds. But yeah, as soon as we got there, it was garage time. It was sunny, and we were like, this is probably going to end up being a song for us because it just sort of fits our vibe. I think the song's got a lot of our old school flavors to it. You know, I think a lot of techniques that I would have liked to have known how to do back when we made songs like You and Me and Stimulation, I can now like implement in the writing of this. But the writing and like the vibe is very similar, I think. But hopefully people can hear the progression in like the mix and like just the variation in like the music and how it moves. And
oh yeah, there's another thing to mention that I actually forgot, which is that we wrote different verses originally. Completely different. And then we met up with Ray again out here in LA, like a month after we wrote the original. Yeah. So we did write the entire song in London, and then we rewrote the verses in LA, and we did rewrite the rap bit as well many times. That's changed the most out of all of it. It's gone from like, it actually has ended up being what it was to begin with in the end. But we took it like longer, and then we did like a super long with lots of variety. Yeah, there's like a lot of bits. I probably won't play you guys those because like I'd probably want to ask Ray first if she's cool with it. But if she is one day, then I'll just post some stories of it on Insta or TikTok or something. But yeah, there's been many versions of the rap, which we don't usually do, like verse wise. You know, it's usually kind of done or it's not. But they didn't dramatically change, like the temperature of them and like how they were sung and all that is very similar. It's just, I think we wrote a way better melody on the second session for those verses. I mean, I preferred it. We went way more R&B with it. Yeah, exactly. And I think it left room for the pre to grow, and then the chorus gets even bigger. The first time we wrote the verses, it was a little bit of a blur between the verse and the pre. Yeah. No, we went for the really like rhythmic skippy thing. It felt better. Yeah. I mean, Ray writing melodies is like, it's like putting money in a machine and they just come out like all of these hooks after hooks. It's so sick. And you just choose your favorite one to be the chorus, and you choose your second favorite to be the pre. It's like how you and Jimmy write. It was like watching someone just fit into the team of what we do really well, like, and really fast. Yeah, she definitely speaks the same musical language that we do when we're writing. I think that's why it worked. It just felt so easy. Quite jam based almost, you know. Pretty much just humming melodies. Yeah, everyone's singing until someone sings something that's so good that the other two stop. Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, let's use that, you know. A couple questions. Is there really 210 tracks? I mean, yeah, that's what it says there, but some of them are empty. Like there's a quick sampler right there with nothing on it. Like I have a lot of stuff hidden. So yeah, there are some empty tracks, but there's probably more. There's probably like 150, maybe a little more, maybe 200. Really, that many? Wow. Yeah. But I don't know if it count. I think it counts hidden tracks that you've just got completely turned off and muted. So it might be more like 150. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a fair amount because there's so many vocal stacks, you know, like just the pre is 6 layers, and then there's 8 more harmonies at the end of that. So, you know, we went pretty in on the layering. The rap though, Father Harms. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some harms in here. Did you get any good collabs with B Ray yet? I'm not sure. I'm going to check today, and we will definitely repost any good ones. Yeah, let's have a look. I haven't seen any come in. Oh, I saw Jamie did one. Oh yeah, that's the only one I've seen. I haven't heard that yet. But Jamie's one's sick. Jamie killed it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Jamie's done one. Jamie A. Shouts to Jamie. Will you do a breakdown of White Noise? Have we not? Probably then. Yep. Yeah, I guess. We do a VIP of this song. We have thought about it a lot, but the thing is, like with our VIPs, they're usually a garagey version of a song that we've made that perhaps wasn't as garagey as it could be. This is already peak garage, so I don't really have a vision for it, like where to take it. Like for instance, Nocturnal has a VIP that's very dancey and garagey, and that's because the original is like 100 BPM, you know. So you could change it. With this, it's almost like the VIP would be an R&B slow dance or something to make it different, you know? It's that, or it's like 150 BPM. Drum and bass. Yeah, exactly. So I haven't got much of a vision for it, but we'll see. Maybe you'll start this one.
just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I made some other chords to use for it, but again, I don't know, like, what
don't know what they
speed
do.
do we put it at to make it different?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And like we made it so much to already play in a club, you know. It's not like it needs a club version. I've made a version with a bit of drums at the end. That's it. So, yeah, extended version of Waterfall. Yeah, I think is that one not available on Beatport and Juno and all the sort of more DJ friendly sites? I'll make sure it is. If it's, I think I did get one mastered that was like lots of drums at the beginning and the end for people to mix out of. So if you want that, check Beatport and those sort of places, and so will I. I'll make sure it's there. There you go. That's a bit of Waterfall, featuring Ray. It's
Hope you like the breakdown.
Hope you like the breakdown. See you later. Yeah, that's all the information you're getting from us. Yeah, so let's have a closer look. Should we start with the vocals? I reckon it's, you know, a lot of people here right now. We might as well just go in with that. So, yeah, here's the verse that we ended up with. First verse, Finn. I'll give you a blast of it with no plugins. And yeah, this verse was recorded in LA, just at our house, our manager's house, with just my Neumann. Nothing that fancy. Oh no, it got re-recorded. Ira re-recorded it at his house. We sent Ray to his house.
I don't remember that. Oh, right.
So we wrote it at our house, and I had it coming in way too hot, and it was like really in the red, and yeah, I screwed it up basically. And we were back in London, and we were like, damn it, how are we going to fix this? So our good friend Ira, shouts to Ira, engineer from Capitol Records. He also has a little studio at his house. We just sent Ray to his house, and she just went in and redid it.
I didn't even know that.
I know, yeah, through his like lovely I think he has a U47, nice Neumann, nice analog gear, Neve, all of that. So, yeah, there is there's a slight change in sound between the verse and then the pre and chorus, but I quite like that because it's like there's also 6 of her like in the pre, and there's only 1 in the verse, so it kind of makes it go like this new space. So yeah, here's that.
I only see you and I in a crowded room, you're my decision.
So a bit of like delay, automation going on in between those gaps, just for the decision, turning the time, which is kind of nice. So yeah, this is all being compressed a bit. I think he would have recorded it through a tube tech.
Crowded room, you're my decision.
Bit of EQ. Not too aggressive, really. Just like pulling out some lows, about 4 dB, and like, you know, what's it called? Dynamic EQ. Pulling out some mids. Couple of resonances here that I didn't like, and boosting the highs.
I only see you and I.
This will just be like whistly. No one needs that.
Oh, we've been blurring the lines.
Can't believe you took that bit out, man. It's my favorite.
You love that bit?
Yeah, I just love that bit.
Bit of a de-esser.
I only see you and
just taming the C and making sure it's nice and bright. And then this, yeah, my classic gem dopamine trick, which boosts the high frequencies while de-essing a little bit more. So it gives you all of that nice air. So put all that together. Here's without.
I only see you and I.
With.
I only see you and I.
You know, just lifts it
a little
up.
Breathier, yeah.
A little breathier and less like MIDI. Yeah, then after that, so this is now on the vocal bus, which effectively is just more plugins after, because it's a single vocal, but yeah, a bit more compression. It's literally not doing anything, like
in a crowded room, you're my
taking off a dB and here and there of those like top notes. A little bit more gem with a bit less compression. So yeah, I'm going pretty in on brightening this thing up. Because it's garage, there's so much high frequencies in the mix, like all of the hi-hats with, you know, it's like you really have to carve out some highs in the vocal. Otherwise, the hi-hats are just going to sit right up here and the vocals down here. Or you can just make your drums not as bright, but you don't want dead drums in garage. Like, my favorite thing about old school garage records is they are so trebly, and sometimes the vinyl itself like distorts when you're listening back to them, because it's just like, and I like that. So there's a tasteful way of doing it. Bit of delay, bit of reverb, sidechain compression, tremolo. I think that gets automated and just sort of pans her around a little bit. So yeah, here's all the bus plugins off.
I only see you and I.
And then on.
I only see you and I. In a crowded room, you're my decision. Oh, we've been blurring the line.
And that's it.
Oh, now, baby.
Nice little bit of reverb automation at the end. And then, yeah, this is what's sending the delay as well to bus 17. I can't be bothered to find that. That's it. That's the lead vocal. Verse 2, exactly the same settings. Oh, no, it's not. I've got no tube tech on that one. That might be a mistake, quite honestly. I don't know why I would have done that. But whatever. Sounds
There's some
fine.
people in the chat making a good point,
This may be
man.
a mistake.
Just saying, well, okay, they didn't quite say it, but I'm going to say it. We should use GarageBand because we make garage. We should get off this Logic hype and go back to GarageBand.
Logic is GarageBand, just with more buttons. It looks the same sort of
Yeah.
layout, colors.
Just loads of useless buttons. Why don't we go back to
not useless.
GarageBand?
I would struggle so much to make something as finished as we can in GarageBand.
All right, can we at least start
you
in
can start in
GarageBand?
GarageBand
Okay.
and save it as a Logic project. So
All right, we
yeah,
should
for sure.
write in GarageBand.
If you start sending me GarageBand projects, I will not complain. That'll be fine.
Okay, sick. I'm
Yeah.
getting rid of Logic.
I'm pretty sure there is just a button that's like open in Logic. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
GarageBand. We are a GarageBand.
This may be a mistake, but I want your tattoos on my shoulders.
Yeah, same exact vibe. So that's the verses. Moving on to the pre. We got layers of 3. So one down the middle, and then sort of one each side, left and right. Not all the way left and right. I wanted to save like the full panning till the chorus, so it went super wide. Here's a bit of that.
Hold on, pushed you back for so long. Oh, and I'm all out of good excuses now, baby. Alright, I can't wait one more night. Oh, I give up, I give in, I can't take it.
So on that time, I kind of just let the reverb and effects hang over, and the drop just kind of blends in. And then the next one, I just did this like insane effects build up and then mute so that the drums hit like extra hard just to make each drop a little different.
I give up, I give in, I can't take it.
Like that. So on its own, it doesn't sound that natural, but when you take it up with all the synths,
I give up, I give in, I can't take it. Won't you please pour your love
yeah, it just needed that extra.
in, I can't take it. Won't you please pour your love.
So that's like the smooth one, and then the other one's like the bam, just the full impact moment. Same exact settings, I think, on the bus, except for I've gone for a blue stripe compressor. Just adds like more harmonics and a bit more distortion into the sound. Very minimal on each track. I've got no compressor. I think they were just recorded really nicely. Didn't need it. So it's literally just got a little bit of EQ, barely any, taking out some low mids, bit of resonance, boosting the highs, and a de-esser. So yeah, everything you can see here is all that's going on. It's very minimal on the pre-bus processing. It's just effects. So yeah, some of these are all, getting automated, and wet and dry is going up and down. A lot of people don't put their effects on the vocal bus itself. They would send the signal to another bus. The reason I like doing that is because like on plugins like these ones where you've got a mix knob like wet and dry, by increasing the reverb it also decreases the dry sound. And for me, in my head, that makes sense. Like if I'm building reverb, I don't want the main sound to stay there and reverb just appear. I want the reverb to like overtake it and like completely engulf it. And then when you go back to dry, it's like up comes the main
because it
signal.
makes it feel like the original dry signal is further away that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it pulls it down. And, you can always make up for that in like volume automation if you want. But yeah, it depends what kind of reverb, what kind of delay you're going for. If you want to just send a quick like bap, 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 to, like a quarter note delay, you've got to have it on the bus. But for things like this, where it's just a build and then a scoop out, it's just kind of like how I DJ as well. If you're taking the bass out, you're doing a reverb build, you might pull that fader down a bit just to make it a bit more like thump when you go back in. So I kind of view it a bit like DJing with effects.
I give up, I give in, I can't take it. Won't you please pour your
Yeah, so that's how that's being achieved. Anything you want to say about the lyrics and the melodies of these parts?
No, I mean we spent quite a long time making sure especially when we rewrote the verses, trying to make sure that all the sections were different enough melodically.
Yeah.
Especially as like the post chorus is so like, you know, just legato the whole time. So most of the other sections we went quite like either rhythmic or sparser. But yeah, no, I think my favorite melody in it is definitely the verse. I love that melody now. I love how it jumps up fourths and it's so like 90s R&B to go da 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 da, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I think that's my favorite. I don't think we need to go into the lyrics again though. You know, I like people thinking it's about whatever they want it to be about, rather than saying like, if you listen to this, you have to imagine my predicament I was in, like, or whatever. You know, it's like it's better to let people feel it themselves.
Someone said, "Why did you put 2 H delays?" I honestly have no idea. That is like really dumb. Maybe one is. Yeah, no, I don't know. There is just 2.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. Breakfast.
1 sec. Howard's got food delivery. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I was going to say maybe I've got one set on like 16th notes and one on 8th notes, or maybe one's like the only difference I can see is like one is doing highs like and one is doing. Oh wait, they are on different settings. There you go. Yeah, one's on 8th notes and one's on quarter notes. That's the difference. So this one here, that's doing like dung dung dung, and like you can see here I've taken out all the highs and lows, so it's like a boxy that kind of sound. And this one is doing, and it's not in ping pong mode, so it's going down the middle. Whereas this one is in ping pong mode and it's going left and right, left and right. So yeah, they're just set up a bit differently, I think. But yeah, it is kind of overkill. You could definitely achieve a similar thing with just one. And usually if I'm doing quarter note delay, I'll use Sound Toys Echo Boy or something. Anyway, here's the harm bus underneath that.
Nice. Sounds so nice on its own.
Yeah, so those, you know, complement that.
I can't wait one more night. Oh, I give up, I give in, I can't take it.
Nice. Cool. So that's the pre. Here's the chorus. So yeah, it's quite a lot of tracks in the chorus. Got a little bit of auto tune on like some of the tracks, but not all. Yeah, so just the one in the middle, I've put auto tune on a super low setting, and it was more for like the texture, to be honest, because it was sometimes auto tune does some like interesting phasey, flangey stuff, which can be quite nice. But look, there's like more rays on here without auto tune than there is with. So it's not like we need to tune this, you know. It's more of a textural thing. I can't explain it, but it's like when I bypassed them off, it sounded worse than on. So I left them on. Simple as that. They don't need to be there. And there's nothing wrong with it without. I'll give you the before and after. But other than that, it's just the same. Tube tech, compression, copy and pasted the same EQ pretty much from the pre-chorus. And then... yeah, very similar bus processing as well. Blue stripe, EQ with some dynamic stuff going on at the top. I think I've put an Oxford inflator on there as well, just to bring the chorus up even more. 2 H delays. Oh, they are different. Yeah, look, one's doing a super fast like echo slap back thing, and then one's doing actual delay. So this gap here, this is where I had soothe, which is like a harshness. A de-harsher, let's say that. It's a soother. They're so CPU intensive that I had to get rid of them, and instead I've just sort of put one on the vocal bus of everything. So it was bypassed, I'll put it back on. So yeah, you might hear a few frequencies popping out that are a bit harsh because I've lost soothe.
Soothe is still your favorite plugin, right?
It's still the best. It's still the most useful plugin ever.
Yeah.
I think
it's the one I hear you, like during sessions, it's the one I hear you mention the most.
Yeah.
When we're actually writing stuff, you're like, oh, thank God we have Soothe.
Yeah. There's not many plugins that like are like you want it on the hi-hat, single hi-hat track and the master out.
Yeah.
But like with Soothe you can. There's like barely, apart from EQ, There's like barely any plugins that do that, you know, and EQ is a wide amount of choices. Soothe is just one thing. So yeah, it's an impressive thing. So here's the different effects. So hit that slapback one is first. Oh.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in over me like a waterfall, baby. Won't you please pour your love?
So that was this chorus bus is the only bus that has that kind of slapbacky delay, and it's because the rest have quite nice long reverbs, and we wanted the chorus to sound like it was just there, like it would come right up, but not totally dry. So instead of going for like a short reverb or a long reverb, we've gone for like a slapback delay. Howard loves slapback delays, so I know when I put him on, he's going to be in.
I think it's just because it sounds like a short reverb, and I love short reverb.
Yeah, it's very 80s trick.
Yeah,
you know, like Phil Collins would do it a lot. Yeah, you just have like a single bounce back of the vocal, like da 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 da, like that.
Yeah.
But I've also got a little one underneath it, just barely on.
Won't you please pour your love in over me?
Yeah.
Pour your love in over me like a waterfall, baby. Won't you please
But
pour
you're
your
barely even hearing that, you know, it's more subconscious than anything. Same with the reverb, it's on 1%, which is like nothing.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in
And
over
even
me.
that, I've got the pre-delay set the same amount as the slapback delay, so it's still only going, well, won't you please? So you're not, you know, again, you're not really hearing it. Your brain just sort of knows it's there in the back.
There's a good question about the vocals. It's just gone above the screen, but it was something like, how do you get the vocals to line up so well? Like in a stack like that. 'Cause it's really hard, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't moved these at all. This is just Ray being excellent.
We just did a truckload of takes until we had perfect takes.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's what it's something that people don't do that much anymore.
Yeah.
People just do one and then tune it. We were like, let's just get it right. you
Yeah,
know?
like none of these are tuned at all. They're just out the box. And the other thing is, like, we say we did loads of takes, but it's not then like we comped every one. We would just do loads, and she would get better and better each time, and we literally used the last 5.
Yeah, it's not
It would just be like chuck them in. Because, like, especially when there's a stack, there's not like, you don't want every single one to be perfect, because if they genuinely are all the same, you'll just get phasing.
Yeah.
Especially if you use auto-tune on each one, you get really weird, horrible
That's
phasing.
why I thought this might come up. Mr. Wolf has said, what about Vocaline?
Nah, never.
Yeah, like we've never used it, and whenever I've seen someone use it, it leaves like little artifacts all over the thing. Like you hear these little weird digital clicks and stuff. I mean, I don't know, maybe the person I saw using it just wasn't good at using it, but I personally think just sing it the same a bunch of times.
Me too. Like my philosophy is this as well. Like, did all my favorite songs ever use Vocaline or something similar? No. So like, it's clearly not needed. You know, I don't think humans can pick up on these tiny transients being out a bit. If you're way off, yeah, just sing it again. Just get better and better each time until you do it good. That I think personally, but like, I'm sure there are some songs I like that do use it, but like, you know, the plugins that I tend to use are either emulations of old gear that is on songs I love, or with something like Soothe, it's so subtle and doing things that you would try and achieve with EQ anyway, but like, it's just doing it faster. Like plugins that make life faster and easier are good, but not if they change the sound like in weird ways. And Vocaline, maybe it does do some weird artifacts and you can hear it a bit. Personally, I like a group vocal kind of moving in and out of time a little bit. Like that's what keeps it human. It sounds like a group of Rays all singing.
It's weird in terms of writing as well. I wouldn't say this happens every time, but I mean, we tend to write melodies first. So for the vocals, you know, I'll come up with some chords or whoever, and then we'll start writing vocals, just melodies normally, like no lyrics. And even at that stage, it's almost known and agreed upon by everyone in the room. Like, oh yeah, this bit is going to be multi-tracked, and this bit is going to be just one single vocal, and this bit's going to have harmonies. Like you can kind of just feel it out. Like, you know, the post-chorus, like, let your waterfall, that's not going to be a single vocal. Like it's crying out for harmonies, and that's why we absolutely covered it in harmonies. But you know, it's like some of them just call out for certain things, including even stuff like reverb or dry. You know, like there's certain parts that just need that. So yeah, that's the order for those people that were asking a second ago.
Here's some of those rich harmonies.
I need you to let your Oh, baby, let me feel it all.
Yeah, she's so good because even her vibrato is like in time. It comes in at the same time and starts doing the same rate.
It's because she does it
You know?
naturally.
Yeah.
She's not overthinking it.
Yeah, and it's in time with the song. It's triplets. It's like da, 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 da.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time when that doesn't happen is when people aren't used to doing harmonies. Ray's very used to doing harmonies, and she's sick at them. But like when I was telling her to sing certain notes, like she could just do that and still feel what she was singing rather than have to concentrate on, you know, oh, I'm making sure I'm singing this note. Like she just heard what I sung and was like, oh yeah, cool, I know how to do that. So she can keep it a lot more natural.
That is high. So you can hear that bend in is not quite the same on the way up, but it's natural. We like that stuff, you know. Like there's one a bit flatter than the others. It's getting there a bit slower than the others, but like it's nice. That's that's literally how you achieve chorus. Like a chorus effect, you know, is like detuning little bits to make this richness. So when you hear maybe just two together, you'll be like, oh, it's a bit clashy. Same as like if you're on the piano and you just play two semitones, it sucks. But then if you put in the chord around it, it's like, oh, now it's nice. I kind of have the same philosophy on harmonies with that. You know, I very rarely tune harmonies. It's not needed.
Let me feel it all.
Yeah, the reason these harmonies are tasty is because of one harm that does a different thing.
Baby, let me feel it all.
Yeah, because all of them are just following the lead melody except for one.
The
which
bottom
is,
one.
Let your heart. Yeah, it seems on the same note. Where is it? No, not that.
Money.
Yeah. Yeah, so that first note, if it just followed the melody, it would be let me feel it all, but we went let me feel it all, which makes the first chord have a seventh in it, and that's why it sounds tasty.
Father Harms over there.
Yeah.
Baby, let me feel
Yeah, because then it goes like really major, the
Yeah.
second chord, because
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
lost the seven. Yeah, it's nice. Usually, and I feel like this for you is actually quite a sparse harmony. There's only three harms.
Yeah, we kept it clean.
Three
we
harms
didn't
and
go
the
too
lead.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't as well. I thought about going crazy. But I think
Yeah, and
this
it's
is
pretty
perfect.
rare that we add harms and then take them off. That never happens because you're always like, oh, it sounded better before. It's better to
Yeah.
just not record them.
Jimmy's always like, Howard, have you got another harmony
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this? And
of
I'm always
course.
like, well, yeah, obviously. But like, does that mean we should put it in? Probably not. No. We can keep going until we just have all the notes, but I don't think anyone wants to hear that.
Indefinite harms, yeah. Cool. All right, I've got these ones labeled as breakdown vox, but they're kind of like a middle eight. I'm pretty sure these were just recorded on an SM7 while she was sitting on the floor. I think this was literally the most demo-y bit.
Yeah,
of
I
the
wasn't even
tune.
in the room when this part was written
Really?
and recorded. I went to the loo and then I think I answered a phone call for like 5 minutes, came back in, and this was written and recorded. I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow.
That's right, I remember now. Yeah, because she was just like sitting on the floor going. "Da-da-da-na-na-na, na-ma-na-ma-na-ma, na-ma-na-ma-na-ma-ma." It's like, how can you do it that fast?
Oh, shit.
What's going on, Mr. Greggles? We just got a raid by Mr. Greggles. Or Gregless? Gregless. Nice to see you. So, yeah, these ones sound, I think, a little different to the rest of the song because the recording was genuinely, like, very different.
Give me something to live for. Give me something to love. Give me something to hold on to. I'll be nothing above.
So you can hear that, like, there's more spill of the track behind the vocals too, and that's because it's just, like, coming out of the speakers really, really quietly. I don't think she was even wearing headphones at this point. Let me mute all of the... It might be a Neumann, actually. I don't know. But it definitely wasn't recorded in the vocal booth.
Give me something to live for. Give me something to love. Give me something to hold on to. I'll be nothing above.
Either way, it's hard to remember because, like, the whole thing was demo vocaled on an SM7 while she sat on the floor. And then we re-recorded almost all of it in the booth. But for some reason, I remember not redoing this bit because it just sounded nice, like how much more like soft and a bit lo-fi it was, because when the rap bit comes in here, it made it like, so it wasn't much point making the middle 8 super clear, because then you're just sort of competing to make the rap bit sound even bigger, and the rap section is like really distorted and like really different sounding to the rest of the song. So yeah, for me it's like, I'm a big fan of recording like different sections of the song with different mics or in a different room, if you're trying to achieve a sense of like changing space, which we definitely are. You know, if you're going from a single verse vocal very clear to like a big pre-chorus with group, you know, sometimes changing mics or changing where the mic is can help, you know, establish that vibe. But you know, if you want consistency through the song, do not do that. Obviously, that would not be helpful.
Give me something to live for. Give me something to love. Give me something to hold on to. I'll be nothing above. Give me something to live for. Give me something to feel.
Here we go.
Give me something to hold on to. Give me something that's real. Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element, yeah. Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element.
Jace. And we got some harmonies at the end, just for that one little moment.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element.
You can see where we had even more harms at one point, and we did get rid of them.
No, not for that bit. It was for the bit that we've now deleted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. These are all sort of hidden tracks.
We don't delete harms. We delete sections.
That's what I was going to say. We just said we don't delete harms, and it looks like we have, but we delete whole sections. Yeah. Let's hide that. See, there's another 15 tracks that aren't really being used. So, yeah.
That bit, got a good girl in Element, is another jumping up and down fourths, which to me always makes it feel more R&B. Yeah.
Yeah, true. So here's how it actually sounds, the rap section. If I take all the plugins off. Here's one clean version.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element, yeah. Never had.
So I'm going in pretty hot to the Neve there already. You can hear it, like it is fizzing and it is kind of distorting a bit, but we're not even halfway there yet. We need a lot more distortion.
Never had a lover like you,
Can you hear
no.
like bzzz, just a little bit, which is nice, because by the time you add compression, EQ, and like brighten it up a bit, that does start to sound like pretty nice and distorted already.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element, yeah.
Like you could totally just leave it there and it would sound fine, you know.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element, yeah.
But what we did is ram it violently through Decapitator on punish mode.
Oh, that's a nice little chain of things you just said there.
We violently rammed it through Decapitator. Yeah. We cut the head off it.
And what style are we on?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I think N is Neve, T is Tube. I don't really know.
What's the most extreme? Probably E.
Money.
Extreme.
They are all just different flavors, yeah. So, I mean, let's hear it with and without. So here's without.
Never had a lover like you, no.
With.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some.
Just adding all that nice fizzy on top, you know. I just love that.
I love the
so
attitude
much.
dial is on red the whole time.
Yeah, it's in the red, and then because what I like to do is work it really hard and then blend it in with the mix knob here. So it's only on it's only on 70%. Like if we go all the way up, it's.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him, got a good girl and an element, yeah.
But like, why isn't that painful to listen to? Like normally distorted stuff sounds horrible when it's loud in your ear. This is right in my ear, and I think it sounded great.
Yeah. Well, it's like a guitar solo, right?
Yeah.
Guitars, some stuff overdriven is great. Like, and there's a big difference, you know, between analog distortion and digital distortion. Like, if this was clipping in the red of Logic, you get like not a nice sound. But this, you know, distortion and overdrive are effectively you're taking a round waveform and cutting the head off into a square, and I could go on for a long time about the science behind that, but you're basically limiting hard. So you're not getting like huge volume increase. You're actually squashing the level. Like if you look at a sound before, like if you take a plucky guitar, you'll get loads of transients. If you run it through an amp on distortion, it'll actually look way smaller, but it'll sound massive. So I think that's why it sounds good to humans, because it's like, it puts it in this box and it's very controllable. Like the sound is very even, but it sounds massively fat, and you're adding loads of harmonics.
So it's clipping off the top of each sound
Clipping
wave.
off the top, and the style of how it does that clipping is what harmonics it will add. So the best way to tell is like if you run a sine wave, like a pure sine wave, just going boo, and then try these different styles, you'll see different harmonics appear like after it on an analyzer. So that's how you can.
So when I was growing up, I had a bass playing teacher. I don't know if he was actually a bass teacher, but he was teaching me to play bass, this guy, Ssl Gbos. If you're out there, Steve, shouts. But he was technically, because of the degree that he got, he was technically a doctor of funk, right? And I'm just wondering, if you learn enough about this plugin, could you be made a doctor of decapitation?
Sure.
Or at least a doctor of distortion. I don't know, like,
Just give me the diploma.
someone give this man a diploma, for God's sake.
And decapitation.
He knows everything about this thing.
Well, that's not about just decapitator. That's about just distortion generally.
Yeah.
And saturation.
Doctor of distortion, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Doctor of drive.
Yeah, I mean, you can use overdrive and distortion in so many clever ways. I would put it up there as important. I think the level of like plugins or effects that are the most important in music probably goes EQ, compression, and then saturation and overdrive before like any other effects. Because like if you just have those three plugins, you can control everything, you know, because you could technically even limit a track if you wanted. You know, you can sort of soft limit it. Yeah, there's nothing you can't do if you can sort of master all those things. But yeah, like different EQs and different compressors, they all have different flavors of distortion. Like we can hear a few on this Soundtoys plugin.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want. Settle some, settle in, love him, and I'm telling him.
Sounds the same to me.
Really? That sounds the same as this?
Like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do want.
Switch it back.
Settle in, love him, and I'm telling him. Got a good girl and an element.
I mean, it's negligible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah,
small,
yeah.
yeah.
Never had a lover like you, no. It's the kind of loving I do.
Yeah, it's like getting
Settle some,
higher.
settle
Right,
Yeah.
So those ones, they're not, it's scooping more of the mids. It's not distorting. Remember, it's not like EQing it. It's distorting different bits of the sound more. So P seems to be adding a lot more harmonics at the top. Neve is adding a lot more harmonics at the low end, because that's what Neves do. They add bass and like warmth. A's. I find A's to just be a good balance. I don't know what it stands for. Someone might know.
I feel we may have been sidetracked by the decapitator. somewhat. Yeah.
It's an important part, man. All the Discord guys were asking about how the hell we made this sound.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I hate to burst your bubble, but you know, it is literally Decapitator with a little bit of
Just decapitate everything.
Yeah, I'm pulling out some EQ. I'm driving at 3. Punish is definitely on.
Always.
Yeah, other plugins are available. I highly recommend Decapitator, but I also highly, highly, highly recommend Saturn 2.
I don't even know this one.
The reason this one's good is, you've got a ton of styles, tube, tape, amps. So you could plug a guitar into your Apollo or whatever clean and put it through any of these, and it literally sounds like a guitar amp.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
it's really good. But you can also add the most subtle mastering. You can put this on the master bus as well. It does
Wow.
everything. And the cool thing is you can add different saturations to different bits of the EQ. So say you want to warm up the bass, you could put tape saturation here, and then, but you also wanted to add some fizz, you could put tube saturation here.
Wow.
Because tube is generally more like hissy and fizzy, and tape is more like warm. So it lets you apply different saturations to the same sound in different frequency ranges. Very sick plugin. I use it a lot on the master out buses. Sometimes I'll whack it on just individual vocals too, especially if they've been recorded like clean. If you ever record something clean, like into the interface, not through like a Neve or anything, definitely worth putting Saturn or a similar couple things on there just to give it that feeling like it's been through some sort of analog gear. Because that's the best thing about analog gear, is even if you're not using the effect it's giving you, it's adding saturation. That's why everyone says analog's better, because it adds saturation and overdrive and all this nice stuff to the sound on the way in before you've even hit record. I personally don't think it's better. I just think it's nice to have the choice. So, you can go clean or warm it up. So there's the rap and the harmonies on the rap. There's one little section left, and it's the post-chorus end. I like this bit. Yeah, we really nearly cut this, but I'm so glad we didn't. I think we had it quite long before, and it's just nice to have a little splash of it before everything disappears.
Money.
Won't you let your, won't you let your, won't you let your waterfall in?
Yeah, it's like a string line.
Yeah. It's a very different sound on that one. I've scooped out like all of the low mids. Yeah, see, it's like, it's really, and all the highs as well. I wanted it to sound like it was in a little old school radio or something. Yeah, distorting it also a little bit, but not as much as before. And I'm sending loads of it to the Logic Roto Cab, which is usually an effect for an organ, but I like using it on vocals. Yeah, and the chorus plugin too. So here it is, just like dry.
Won't you let your, won't you let your, won't you let your waterfall in?
And then with Roto.
Won't you let your, won't you let your, won't you let
Like detunes it a little bit.
Yeah, and for me, it makes it sound like underwater Roto
yeah.
Cab for some reason. It just makes it sound like fluttery, and it's just a nice, slightly less conventional way of doing a flanger or a chorus plugin. Well, I'm doing both, but yeah, that's the only real thing to say about these bits at the end. But I love it. It's like when I listen to Waterfall at the end, that's the bit I actually sometimes end up humming later in the day.
Yeah.
Probably because it's the last thing you hear.
Yeah.
But there is something really catchy in it. Yeah, I think it's just Ray going, "You thought we were done? I got another hook." All right, there's the vocals and the sort of structure of the tune. Moving on to synths.
Ooh, yeah.
So we'll go with the main chords first.
Money.
Here we
I
go.
can't remember what synth we use. Is it like a...
Well, it's a sample, isn't
Yeah.
it? Let's get a bit without the filter.
Yeah, because it's not one chord being pitched around. It's just
No.
we played all the chords and then you wanted to make them rhythmic with Jimmy.
Mhm.
So you sampled each chord individually.
Yeah, so here's what we've been sampling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wrote
I
that.
had those originally
Yeah.
for the song, and then you were like, let's make it more garage, and chopped it into what it is now.
That's it. So yeah, where's the little bit? Oh, it's in the octave up. Yeah, so there's another octave here. Same thing, but octave up, and then this little bit. Yeah. Says that. Same chords. Yeah, so it's got that na in it, which the other chords don't. So yeah, we actually missed out quite a lot of what you wrote, but it only needed three chords.
No, it's great. I mean, kind of, it is what I wrote. It just doesn't have the in between. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's just da, da, da. It just missed out the in betweeny notes.
And Jimmy was the one who sort of, I think I made this Serato sampler, put it across the keyboard, and Jimmy
in
just
front
sat
of it.
down and he started dung 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 dung. Yeah, he just started playing the rhythm, and that's what stayed. So yeah, the organ sound itself, I think, is just the Logic organ as well. I think you wrote the chords on the piano, and I originally stuck my iPhone in it, and we were
That's right, yeah.
using that for a bit. Was that this song?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Have I got that? Yeah, here's that. You can see where we wrote the organ parts.
What does that sound like?
So
Oh, yeah.
that's what it was going to be originally.
In the crowded room,
It's pretty good.
I kissed him,
actually
It's
kind of
pretty
a
cool.
vibe. Yeah.
It's kind of a vibe, yeah. So we had that, and then I think it looks like I just sort of legatoed it all, so it was easier to sample. You got, that's the sample there that I threw into Serato, and then Jimmy chopped it up. So that's how that sort of came to be. You got this little you got this little Poly 6 ARP thing as well, which is kind of fun. There's just like a little round off at the end of each bar, or now and again. Yeah, it's pretty subtle, but in some of the breakdowns you can hear it quite clearly. Let's unmute that. Yeah, cool. I mean, that's literally it for the chords. They're very simple. We've layered up some cool noises here, though, which is quite fun. So this first synth was, I think it was the Peak, this thing here, Novation Peak. No, my bad. It was Pigments. It was, Pigments by Arturia. It was one of the settings on there. You can hear it panning very left and right. Are they the same exact chords? They've got some more notes in them, I feel like.
Do they?
Some richer.
No, that's in
Yeah,
there.
same chords. This crazy one. Got some pretty serious modulation. Just drifting in and out of.
What synth is that?
They're all a combination of Omnisphere, the Peak, and Pigments. Yeah. So I think that one was maybe Peak. That one was definitely Pigments. Maybe the other way around. And then this stuff was all Omnisphere. So
Oh.
that is, you know, those sounds in Omnisphere that are like dropping a coin on
Into a piggy bank.
Yeah. Or like a tin with beans in it or something. It's just like a few of those.
When's the last time you saw an actual piggy bank?
A long time.
Years.
Years.
Got a real piggy bank?
Nice bells. That's DX7.
It's like a
for sure. DX7.
Yeah. Super 80s.
What I like is how dissonant the bell is. Yeah,
It's got
like,
all those harmonics.
they're not that in tune, but altogether it sounds great. Did someone say what's on bus 3? Yeah, bus 3 is always chorus for me. Logic chorus. There's the setting. Bus 4 is roto cabinet. Bus 2 is reverb. That's about it. So yeah, I love that layer. That's one of my favorite like synth patches I think that we've made, because it's so wide and there's so many different textures
really cool.
and details in it, and it's panning. Like, it's just got a bit of everything. Someone said Burial has entered the chat. That would be so sick. I'd be so down with that. Yeah, but he does like a good like rattly coin droppy sound as well. It's definitely an influence in there. For
God,
sure.
it's only when we do these breakdowns that I realise how little I actually remember about the writing of the
Making
song.
the song,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember it at all. It was only like 3 months
I
ago.
know. Trying to remember like the first album, it's like it didn't even
It's
happen.
impossible. Yeah.
It didn't even happen. It's just always existed.
I think I know where I was living at the time. That's about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Some strings, just Logic strings. Violins. Same old chords. Just taking out all the lows. Just literally wanted like
That's nice.
the nice sparkly highs to go with the nice chords. And that's all the synths.
Oh yeah, do you remember we realised about that harmonic in this pad, in the main pad as well? There's a note that sounds like it's in the chord, but it's not, and it sounds
In
really
the
cool.
organ chords.
In the main one, yeah. It's only when it's opened up though, you cut off. That's in there. Can you hear it?
That's what you get from sampling an organ.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many harmonics. you
Cool.
know.
I didn't play that in, but I'm glad it's there.
It's there. Yeah. Yeah, like an overtone, would you call that, I
yeah,
guess?
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no more synths. That's that. Here's the bass. There's two basses, but one it's mostly one. Then there's a little random garage fill, which Jimmy loved.
Of course
so
he
we
did.
had to keep. The main bass of Waterfall is the Repro 1 by Yuhi. I've used this setting many times. I love it. It's such a punchy. I find with software synths a lot of the time it's quite difficult to find a synth that has a great attack for a bass. Like most Moog emulations, they just don't do what a real Moog does on the front end. They have a great tone and the filter does a very similar thing, whatever, but they just don't. You press the note and it just doesn't go down.
Yeah, it's weird. Why haven't they mastered
Because they just
that?
clicky digi in and out.
Yeah.
But this one, I just really think nails it. Like I haven't even got the attack on 0, and it's just got such a banging front end.
Oh, yeah.
Like, bom, bom.
Yeah, like if you played that to me and told me it was a analog synth, I would definitely believe you.
Right? That's why I like it. It's all about the front end. It's weird as well because it's actually a bit of a hack with this synth. I've got both the oscillators turned completely down, and it's actually just the resonance of the filter
Yeah,
that you're pitching around.
Wow, Taron G
Super weird.
called that before you even said it. No oscillators used.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if it's as good with the oscillators. All I know is I found this setting, tweaked it a bit, saved it, and it's my go-to sine bass. Yeah, like I love the Arturia Mini Moog. That does a pretty good job at front end as well. But the Monarch, which I use all the time, that's its one downfall for me, is it doesn't have a good front end attack. It does if you've got like the full frequency open, like down, down. But if you're doing like more of this style of bass, there's always this like little digi click at the start, and I don't like that. So yeah, that's the bass setting. I've got Jaws turned on there. It's going through a lot of saturation and stuff, so here it is on its own. Just hear that front end even more. Dun, dun, dun. So good. Yeah. See, without that Jaws plugin here, it's literally just sine wave. So that.
Huge sine wave.
Exactly. Going into Logic Overdrive, rolling off some of the highs because it's bass, didn't need them. Then adding in some fizz with this soft tube saturator. Hear that on the top? That's, for me, is just making it sound like it's going through a bass amp. You know how you get that fizziness on a bass amp, like on the top. I always miss that when you take it away. So
Yeah.
EQ wise, probably just rolling off the lows. Yeah, rolling off the super lows a bit, boosting some of that front end click. And then we're going through 2 bit crushers. First one's adding more hiss. So that's really like a noisy and the second one is more of a actual bit crush sound, I think. Yeah. And then I am limiting it a little bit too, because that's the only downside with that this Repro 1. If you're using the resonance as the tone of the synth, it doesn't have any velocity control, so your top notes are going to be they're going to be the same volume as the low notes, which usually you don't want. You want the bass to be louder and it to sort of get quieter the higher up you go. So even if you adjust, like the velocity in the MIDI, it's not going to make a difference. You can play the notes quietly as you want and it's still going to go boom. So yeah, that's the one downside. So I'm limiting a bit. And you can see it catching the high notes. Just helping bring it down a little bit. That's the bass. Oh, except for this bit with the crazy bass. I should have named this Wookiee bass. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that it only happens once in the song, and it's literally because Jimmy was there.
Yeah.
There's no other reason.
This This may be a mistake.
Yeah, so with that bass, it is Monarch. That is the sound. It could easily be, yeah, it's just a total rip-off of like the bass sound of Battle.
Yeah. I also just like that it's not like, I don't know, it just does its own thing. It's not like in the notes you'd expect it to be.
It's also bang on bar 49.
Bum. Yeah, it's the third and the second. It's so nice. Makes it feel really mean for a second.
Yeah, it
back
does.
to
Like,
nice.
and
Yeah,
now we're
yeah.
back. Green Apple Juice said, "Who's Jimmy?" Jimmy Napes is an amazing singer, amazing songwriter. Not such a great singer. Deep bar. Oh, come on. Sorry, Jimmy. Yeah, he's an amazing songwriter that we've worked with for many, many years. He helps us write lyrics and melodies. But yeah, he's written loads of songs for Sam Smith, Clean Bandit, Alicia Keys.
Bunch of stuff.
Look him
Yeah,
up.
he's the first person we worked with, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It was either him or Sinead.
Like
Harnett.
yeah. Around that time.
Yeah, it was a while back.
So there's the basses. Just drums to go. You know, it'd be sick that if that was like, you know, in the news where they changed scene and it goes like bum, 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 and then they go somewhere else. If it just did. And now for the weather.
Yeah.
Like the sickest weather station ever.
Garage weather.
Yeah. It's about to rain.
Yeah, D-Double would present garage weather.
D-double-E. Now for the weather. All right, here's some drum action. Wait, why isn't it? Play the drums.
Oh.
Pretty happy with those. Yeah, pretty happy.
They slap. My favorite bit is...
Yeah, that happens quite a lot. Is it that hi-hat swoop? Yeah, I think it's that.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. There's also like a little trap fill, which is quite fun. Yeah. So those are a couple samples that I've probably got off of Splice, or now that looks like an Apple loop. Yeah. Around Midnight hi-hat. So if you extend that, that's probably like a full beat. Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy rhythm.
Crazy rhythm, yeah. I've probably stretched it as well and it's made it sound even crazier. Yeah, there is actually a couple of other Logic stuff in here as well. So two-step balancing beat is one that I pulled in that was sort of, well, I mean, it was not pre-made, but there was some stuff in it that I liked. So I've deleted and muted stuff that I didn't like about it and then left in. Yeah, so I think that is a beat that you can pretty much drag in from Apple Loops, and I've just sort of EQ'd it and put it in a box because my favorite thing about it was the cabassa and the snare. So that was probably what I dragged in to just get the vibe going in the room, because you know we're starting from scratch, so we're making garage. Two-step kit seems like the way to go. So usually I would just start like that and then take it out and replace it with something, but instead I just built and built and built on it. So if you take that as like the starting point, I'll take rid of all these plugins. That's what we started with. Added some more punch and snares here. It's another Apple loop where I've just taken out stuff I didn't like this stupid bell thing. It's cool, but it wasn't needed. And I've, you know, added in some flams and stuff like there. And another one here. I really like that. And that's got like a nice sub drop in it. So I liked that for the sub droppiness of it. So yeah, those are the sort of two Apple loops that we sort of started with, and then yeah, started layering in things like hi-hats. Yeah, it's very loop based. Like I'm doing a little bit less playing in than usual, Probably because it was just all coming together so quick, and I was like, I just want to get this thing rolling so Ray can write the best possible song with us today. Boosting it with a rim. Don't even know where that rim's from. There's 2 kick drums. You got my classic big kick doing like the punchy bit, like the subby kick. Boom, boom. Very short punchy kicks. It's garage, you know, you don't want too much down there. If it was going boom, boom, you're just going to clash with the bass line. So it's very short and punchy. And there's this one as well. So that's got like a hi-hat built into it. Yeah, it looks like it was from, again, an Apple loop, Alligator Hands. I've just taken the kick from this loop and used that. Can we play that somehow? Probably if I do that. Yeah, it goes dunk, dunk, dunk. How do you just play it? Like, just press play. That.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kick. So I'm just taking that first one. I just really liked the hi-hat in there. It's really nice. So yeah, combine that with my kick. You can see as well, I've like very slightly made them not in line. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this kick, the punchy one, is just ahead of that one. So you get that hi-hat just a split second before. Like, here's the difference, right? Right, and now I'll quantize it. Can you even tell?
Yeah, it's not as good. It's not as good quantized. Yeah, that sounds better.
Right? It just had,
100%.
it's like
Yeah.
you're fake compressing it, basically.
Yeah.
Because compression always lets through a little transient before it kicks in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The attack. I've got no compression on these kicks. So instead, I'm just making my own little transient before the kick comes in. So it's like, it's kind of fake compression.
Oh, look at that.
49 kick drums in there.
Oh, that's why it's so good.
Well, that's not quite true, actually. It's, yeah.
It's 49 notes in
man.
there.
Okay. Yeah, moving on. Battery is doing... What's Battery doing on this song? Oh, wow. A super lame clap. Lindrum. The Prince clap. Yeah, big 909, super compressed hi-hat, and a Lindrum. Classic old drum machine sounds. And that sort of lifts the second half of the chorus, I think, when it comes in. First half is shorter. And the clap comes now. So that's one of those claps where on its own it sounds really lame, but in the mix, it does exactly what you want it to do. Last thing, we've got claps. Yeah, claps and clicks. Oh, it is a click. Got that wrong. Clicks. So that is Hand Clap Studio, which we've actually given away on our Twitch channel many times as a prize for some of the remix competitions we do. Oh, it's bloody good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You can do more as well. Let's do 8.
I didn't know you could click with it. I thought it was just claps.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They're nice as well.
oh yeah,
Really
3
nice.
kelvs. You're right. I do hate Lindrums, but
Sorry, I used one.
does sound good in the
tune.
mix, this one. Yeah.
Lindrum is a good in the mix kind of drum kit. You know, I find the click of a Lindrum kick drum great when you combine it with another one.
Sure. Yeah. On its own, though.
On its own, there. Yeah.
The kick, especially, is like, oh,
It's a bit dead, yeah. The low end of it isn't what I like. I like the top end of it a lot. They're nice to use though, because I love how massive it is in real life, and they have really clicky buttons like a 90s keyboard.
That is nice.
You know, like with like a 909 too. When you type, it actually goes.
I'll be forever grateful to the Lindrum because there's so many great tunes with it, but
yeah.
I just don't want to use it myself.
That's fair. What else happens? We got a little tambourine comes in. And we got some transitional sweepy stuff here. Crazy. Wow, that screechy one's quite cool. that kind of actually should have fixed that. Oops.
Still making
the tune, yeah, even after it's
been out for
mastered,
weeks.
Yeah. And then you've also got this little vocal chop, which this was actually one of the first things I did, so it's funny that we're showing it last. But this is a little chop of Ray just vibing into the demo mic before we'd even written anything. It's just her going, ah. So you can hear all the spill in the background.
Oh yes, we had the speakers on.
Yeah, she's literally just vibing, getting used to the mic, getting used to the song, and just hit play. So I just cut it up and did a little... And that's in the drum bus. So at the end is where it's best, I think. A lot of the time I like to take whoever is singing and just put a little piece of that sound in the drums, just to sort of bring some balance to, it just gets them in the music more. And it's also one of the first things you hear of Ray in the whole song, like that, before she even comes in. So it just gets you like ready for who's about to sing.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it also, I don't know, it removes any danger of it sounding like a karaoke, like someone singing on a pre-made garage beat. It makes it feel like they are part of the beat.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like bringing them together. Yeah, exactly. So that is the drum bus with no plugins. I mean, it sounds pretty good. First of all, going through this compressor. Then going through tape saturator. Not loads, but a decent amount. Then inflator. Notice the difference yet? Nope.
No.
You will when I bypass them all on and off. Each piece adds like 10%, Tube, distortion, you'll hear that. So it's very subtle. That's literally what we were talking about earlier, adding harmonics across the whole drum bus. Not just a single drum, but the whole sound. EQ, barely anything. Just de-essing it a bit, kind of. Controlling those hi-hats. Just thought it was a little bit too bright. Oxford limiter. Barely even hitting the limiter. It's not even hitting the limiter. I think I put it on just for safety. Yeah, so I like to leave the drums very open and free before they hit the master. And then reverb, but that's just doing automation now and again. So here is no plugins.
I mean, it's subtle to me. Is everyone hearing it?
There you go. Come on. The energy is just gone. It's like...
And then put it back.
No energy.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm hearing it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but the trick is, like, it's getting louder, right? But look at the meter. Right, it's hitting 6.9, right? And we're hitting 8.
Oh, wow.
So it's gone down
louder
in volume, technically, but it sounds louder and fuller. That's the trick with drum bus processing, for me anyway, is you want to achieve a fatter, richer sound, and get rid of some of those transients that are going to put it in the red when it all adds up without you noticing. And that's why you use compression, saturation. Like I've got 1, 2, 3 saturation type things on there and a limiter. But like I said, that actually isn't even hitting the limiter. So it's not doing anything. So if you take that off, like, no, it's 8.8. It's all about compression. Yeah, what was it? 6, 9, 7. So yeah, we've lost like a dB and a half, 2B, but we're louder. So that's the trick, guys. That's what you want to try and achieve.
Make it quiet but sound loud.
Yeah, save yourself a few dB, so when you get to the master out, you're going to have another whole dB of room to push up without, clipping, which is nice.
I got distracted during that little section there because someone said, why don't you do a thing with MJ Cole? And I was thinking, we should totally do a thing
Totally
with MJ
would.
Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Absolutely would. I actually went for a pint with MJ Cole about a month ago.
He's a lovely dude.
Just went to the local pub.
He
It was
does
lovely.
Twitch a lot, right? He
He
twitches.
does. Yeah, these guys take part a lot of the time, I think. Shout out to MJ Cole.
Yeah, send our love to MJ Cole.
All right, quickly, Master Bus vibes. Here you go.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in over me.
First up, Ssl Gbos.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in over me.
Hitting that very lightly, and I've actually only got it on about 60% wet and dry. I didn't want to overcompress this song at all. I wanted that vocal to fly out and let the mastering guy take care of a lot of that control. Through. Oh, yeah, it's not even...
Won't you please
I decided not to use it. So it's not even going through that. We are going through this thing a little bit.
Won't you please pour your love?
It's just a bit louder, yeah.
Yeah, just louder and more vibes. Saturn 2. What am I using there? Subtle tube. More saturation. I did have these turned on when I bounced it. Linear phase, high quality. I was just afraid. We haven't had a single CPU overload, I would
Yeah,
just say,
not one.
by the way.
Don't jinx it.
Unbelievable. Now we're putting these on, we might. And I had this on my master EQ. I'm pushing just a bit of mids and taking off a bit of super highs. 1 dB, 1.5 dB. I would have bounced it without this and just sort of sent a screenshot of that to my mastering engineer and just gone, this is what I think we should do.
In over me. I go waterfall, baby. Won't you please pour your love in?
So yeah, we are actually dropping in level there a
Yeah.
bit because I've got that turned on. But it doesn't matter. You know, I'm trying to, you want to send it to the mastering engineer quiet.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in over me.
It's hard to A/B it when you've got the different gain changes, but what matters is it's more controlled, it's more compressed, it's saturated. So for me, it doesn't really matter about like that it's taken a drop in gain because you know it was coming in too hot anyway. Look, if I take those off,
Won't you please pour your love in over
yeah,
me?
-6. That's like the most loud you'd ever want to send it to a mastering engineer. I personally think you're better off somewhere between -10 and -8, really. So that's where we're at.
Won't you please pour your love in over me? Pour your love in over me. I go waterfall, baby.
And then would you have had Soothe on the output?
Oh yeah, would have definitely had a little. Actually, I don't think I had it on the output for this track, but I definitely had it on my vocal bus, which I still do. Yeah, I was taking out a fair bit of like resonances with the vocals. I think that's it.
That seems like
We could
all
check if
the
there's any
things.
like hidden stuff that we would play. Like I said, the old verses and stuff like that. I think I'm going to check with Ray first before I play that stuff out to you. But look, there's a load of scratch vocals. These are all like the writing of it. You know, the previous versions. Yeah, the rap sections.
Yeah, we did something that we don't often do, where we wrote the original verses, and they were cool, and everyone liked them, but we just had a feeling we could do better, so we did better.
Yeah. See if I can just play a
I don't know
little.
why that happened.
Sweeter things that are definitive, I love like you.
Oh yeah,
That was one
that's
idea.
One idea. Yeah.
I'm in love like you. What's this one? Same thing, maybe.
And every day long, all long, get you loving my baby.
So that's writing the chorus, you know. That's
Some of it was
sort
there,
of
yeah.
beginning to get there. Yeah.
All night long, and every day long, all long, get you loving my baby.
I mean, it's almost there already. You know, it's very close. What's all this?
Push you back the sun.
That's Jimmy.
That's
singing.
Jimmy, yeah.
And we made it skippier.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
straight originally. Yeah.
Okay, I take back what I said earlier about him being a poor singer.
Oh, he can sing.
He can sing.
That's fire.
That's fire.
That's fire, Jimmy.
Yes, Jim.
He can crop that now. Just have that forever. Sick. So yeah, there's a little bit of scratch stuff. What's that one there? This is all fine, 'cause this is pretty much what ended up being in the song.
It's before we wrote the words.
Cinnamon, yeah. So a bit of cinnamon.
A little bit of cinnamon.
A little bit of cinnamon. Yeah, exactly. So you can see us just laying it all out, getting the structure together. But yeah, look, you got re-recorded verse 2, new vibey, distorted verse. Like there was a few variations. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to save those for another day, and I'll post them on Instagram or something. And yeah, we can reveal all. Thank you, us.
Yeah.
We've been streaming for an hour and a half, which is pretty much exactly what I said we would do. So that's great. Thank you, Van, she says, thanks for another epic stream. Thank you for your subscription gifting. Did you mix on headphones? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit on these, a little bit on my Neura headphones, which I like. I always check it on iPod speakers too, laptop speakers. Did you master it through the SSL Fusion? Yeah, I did send it. Did I send it? I did both. I sent him a version with the Fusion and then without, and I just said you pick whichever one you think's best. And I think he ended up using the one without, because my issue that I have with the Fusion box that I've got is that I'm running it in and out of my Apollo, which is not the best converters in the world. They're good, they're great for recording stuff, but for a whole mix to pass in and out, you really want something a bit more high end. I don't have that. So sometimes what I'll do is do a version of it with the Fusion and just take a picture of my settings that I had and then let my guy do it, because he's got one too. Someone else mastered it. Yes, he Stuart Hawks.
Oh, Jamie said, can you play the kick? Did we do a kick bit?
Yeah.
Oh.
We did a whole kick bit.
Did a whole kick bit, Jamie. Keep up, bro.
Here it is. Here's a kick.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Totally went
Listen,
for it.
Jamie, we've been over this.
Are your headphones Sennheiser HD25s? Yes, they are.
Classics.
Classic DJ headphones. All right, last couple questions. If anyone's got anything that we left out, let us know. Would you ever master it yourselves? I mean, I feel like those plugins on the master out are mastering techniques. But would we do it fully? No. And for me, it's not even a sound thing. It's mostly a file export thing, because the mastering engineers these days, they have to export a type of file for Apple, a type of file for Spotify, a type of file like WAVs. They have to do the instrumental. It's just admin. I don't want to do that. Plus, the skill really that they have of comparing limiters is I can barely tell the difference. He makes these tiny adjustments. Do you prefer 200 millisecond attack or 400? I'm like, mate,
it should be super
I've got
specific.
no idea what you're talking about.
270, please.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. What's your AD/DA converter? I don't have one. It's all Apollo. That's why I also wouldn't master it, because converting is one of the most important parts of it, and clipping, and I don't have any of that stuff here. So I'd rather let someone else do it. Microphone suggestions. Depends what you're recording. What are you recording? Are you doing another remix comp soon? Probably not. We're about to go on tour. Going to be too busy for the next month. We're going all over America. We're going west to east, hitting Coachella on the way. Bunch of our own shows. We're going to have 4 days in New York, Howard's birthday.
Hey.
So that'll be vibes. Yeah, Coachella. Chicago for 2 days. That'll be fun. Portland is really soon, this weekend, right?
Do you remember what you did after the Ray vocal session?
Oh, I do. You left, but me, Ray, and Jimmy went to the pub.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then we did another session here with Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we did after that either.
I don't think we hung out.
Oh.
But we sat on the balcony for a bit. Yeah, pub was good. I had a Guinness. It was great.
I feel like there might have been a dog around that day. Yeah. Probably hung out with a dog.
Hung out with a dog, yeah. Best mixing headphones you've tried? Just whichever ones you know the best. It's too subjective. If you know your headphones really well, those are the best ones. Coachella is next weekend. That's right. Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Magic Mike. What's up, Magic Mike? How you doing?
What, the Magic Mike?
Yeah, the Magic Mike
safe.
that we used to come to Vegas with us.
Hello. Are you guys coming back to France? Well, yeah, at some point.
That's a greght question. Will you buy Howard a new nice chair for his birthday?
Yeah,
Because this stool...
I've finally got a nice chair.
Look at this thing. It's made out of It's made out of fucking iron.
Yeah, but you've got a nice sofa that you're usually on. Just today.
Yeah, the sofa's okay. It's
I've sat on
okay.
that thing for weeks.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
And I'm now I have crippling back disability.
Great. Well, I don't want that.
Yeah. Are you coming back to France? Yeah, we cancelled the whole European tour because of COVID.
We got a festival, We Love Green festival in Paris this year. I can't remember when that is.
We're coming back.
Yeah.
We're coming back. But yeah, the European tour was cancelled because every country had different COVID rules at the time when we booked it. And it was just too risky on our part, financially mostly, because you can't get insurance for COVID.
Yeah,
so
no
if
one
any
was
country
insured.
closed its doors, all the money you'd put into that show and the rehearsals and paying the crew and renting the gear, all down the toilet.
Yeah, Ssl called that shit.
It's just not worth it.
Ssl said that was going to happen like 2 years ago, and I was like,
Really?
Nah, it's just exactly what happened.
Ssl told you that?
Yeah.
What? I think this needs one of those.
Yeah.
Knowledge bomb.
Yeah. A Ssl just dropping bombs.
Okay, last few questions. How much does one show typically cost to run? Oh, mate, that's very hard to say because you would never really do a one-off show. You do a tour. A lot. Our show is expensive. I'll tell you this: the stage that we built at Ali Pali, which was like a stage indoors, because you don't get anything at Alexandra Palace in London. You just get an empty room. Just the stage was 30 grand. So that's just the floor and the thing where you hang the lights. So it's a lot. So, imagine renting all that stuff to take all around Europe and then like 3 countries say we're not doing it. Like you're going to be in the red very quickly. So
Which of your songs has the most harmonies?
Oh my God.
In My Arms, probably.
That's
That's got a lot. Or Where Angels Fear to Tread.
Well, yeah.
That's a lot. But we didn't write those ones. It doesn't count.
Or unreleased, never came out of bounds.
Out of Bounds had harms, but no one ever let us put
That's
it out.
a lot. That's a lot of harms.
Yeah.
Unreleased.
Can we put that out? I still like it, I think.
I think it's still like Emily's favorite thing we have ever made.
Yeah, we should put it out.
Oops. Yeah. You should collab with Jacob Collier. We have done a couple of days of him before, but we never finished what it was. But
We
he's
just had a
legend.
great day. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a sick day. He's so fun.
I think he arrived. We didn't know if we were going to make a song for him or a song for us, and he arrived, and we were in that. What's it called? That Was it Sleeper Sounds? We were in a studio with like a truckload of analog synths and pianos, and he was like, "I'll just do whatever you want." Like, and we were like, "Okay, can you just like solo on every instrument in the room?" And he was just already doing it.
Already doing it. Yeah.
Dope guy.
They're saying play Out of Bounds. Should we give him a blast?
Oh, I can't even remember if it's good. Is it definitely good?
Like how it opens with just the harms. And then
Okay,
a beat
cool.
drops.
Let's just
We
only play that bit. Yeah.
Just the harms. I personally think it's Howard's Out of Harms.
Out of Harms.
I think it's some of your best harmony work, man. We've
Thanks.
got to sample it or do something with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the verses were terrible. So I'm glad that it says no verses.
Yeah, we just never finished
The
that.
chorus is cool.
All right, here you go. A little exclusive, brand new thing that's never coming out.
Let's go out on our own, get out of bounds, pretend like there's no one around. Pay no mind to our phones or bank accounts, and talk about something profound.
That's good.
Yeah, there you go.
I still love it, man. We should
Me
make
too.
it. We should make it.
Let's sample it.
Yeah.
If you want to finish it as a song, I think I'm not needed. My bit's done.
I don't want to write verses.
just-
I feel like it's a rap verse or something.
I know, we always said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll get done one day. I'm sure it will. Yeah. I love the lyrics too, man. It's great.
Yeah, me too.
How dare you? Will Smith collab? Prob's not.
Probably not the right time.
I feel like he's not the right guy to work with right now. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Can you send me that Circle ID yet? No. Taryn. He's been asking me for years for the 2 tunes that we made for Circle. They're not coming out. I did say that I'd send him them on Christmas Day.
And you didn't?
No, the Christmas Day coming up.
Oh, okay,
So
right. I was going to say.
just going to have to wait,
that's
mate.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, guys, we got to go because we're working on stuff today. And but yeah, it's been really nice. And this was fun. Thanks for tuning in.